Okay. All right. Well, I'm Mark Love. I'm the librarian for sociology in the library. So what I want to do today is talk to you about doing library research and specifically doing sociology research in the library. I also want to go over some of the sociology resources that we have. And hopefully the goal here today is to help save you some time and as far as figuring out a lot of times one of the common questions that we get as librarians is students need to find or come to us asking where do I go to find things? I can't figure out where to go on the library website. We do have a main search box on the homepage, but that doesn't always work the best. So let me go ahead and share my screen here for you. Just a second here. All right, so here's the library homepage. Now, here at the library, like I mentioned, we do have the main search box, but it is a little unwieldy as far as the results that you get. Because basically what happens there, when you search the main search box, you're searching everything that we have. It's called a federated search. So it searches the databases and our catalog at the same time. So you're going to get hits not only to journal articles, news articles, books, ebooks, all kinds of stuff. Videos will pop up in the results. So it's best, especially in a course like this, where you really need to find journal articles. You're doing academic research that requires scholarly articles or peer-reviewed articles. I think the best avenue for you to go is to use our subject guides. And on the subject guides, let's go into resources, the resources tab here, and then we're going to click on the subject guide link there. And so on the subject guides, you've got all of your, and we'll scroll down, I found sociology here. Let's click again. And so here in one place, you've got all of your resources organized into one place that are specific to that particular subject. And you saw all the different subjects that we had listed there. So for each of the subjects, the courses that we offer here, we've got the resources for each of those subjects organized into one place. So here I've created the guide for sociology, and you've got all of the resources here that are specific to sociology. So over here on the left, the tabs here, you can see the databases tab. Okay, so the databases, these databases, you can go in and find journal articles specifically from sociology journals. And so that will help save you some time, and you'll be able to more quickly find articles that pertain to the topics that you have. If you go directly to these databases. Okay, so the first here, we've got a little tips on that. And you're talking about Boolean searching, I think, right now. So this talks a little bit more about that and how that relates to the databases. And then below that, you've got a list of the databases that we have for sociology. Now, the fourth one down, you've got some other good ones here you can use, but the one I want to recommend that you start with, it's a sociology-specific database. It's called SOCI Index with full text. And there's lots of full text articles that you can look at here. And the content is going to come from sociology journals. So what we want to do here is, we can enter our terms here. So let's see. Okay, so topics, I think they're past the topic stage, aren't they? Didn't they choose their, well, you had the list of topics, right? Okay. Does anybody have a topic that they would like for me to search for? You should have your topics there. Jake, Kevin, or Brianna, do you have any, Brianna, do you have any, would you like me to search for one of your topics? You can either use your microphone or just type in the chat there.
I lost my chat when you shared my screen. We're doing animal research.
Animal research, okay. All right, so let's say we're going to do animal research. Put that in there. And then we're going to go down, and you can see here, you see that scholarly peer-reviewed journal box. So we're going to go ahead and click that there. So anytime you see that, you want to go ahead and click that when you're looking specifically for scholarly sources. And of course, peer-reviewed, if you don't know, means that the articles were reviewed by peers in the field before they were published in the journal. So you can have let's say there's a sociology professor, they write an article, they submit it to the journal to be published, but before it gets published, there are other people in the field, other professors or people that work in sociology that will review the article before it's published. So, the research has been, vetted, what they've talked about there has been vetted before it's published. So that's why a lot of times your instructors will say, we want you to find peer-reviewed journals because you're getting good academic research that way. And then we'll click the full text box and see articles that we can look at here in full text that are available full text. Okay. So here we got lots of different things here. And then again, you're talking about animal research, that's a broad topic. You can add some other terms to your search at that point in order to narrow it down. But to give you an example, so let's say, okay, here's maybe a good one here. What social workers need to know about animal research. In order to get a better idea, though, of what the article's about, what you can do here is click the title, and that'll take you to the record page for the article. And then from here, we're going to go down, and you can see there's an abstract there. So we're just going to, so a lot of times you can take a look, abstract's just like a little paragraph summary of the article's contents. You can go down and take a look at that and then make a determination whether that's going to work for you. If not, you can just go back to the result list and continue going through and looking at these articles. Now from this point, the full text is going to be over here on the left, so you're just going to click either of these full text links. The PDF is probably the preferred way to look at this. And then from here, what you can do is just click on the little arrow there, and you can download it and save it to your hard drive. You can also, if you want, you can save it to your Google Drive as well, so that's a new option that they have at this point. Also, you can go in, you notice here over here on the right, you've got some other options here. You see the citation link there? So you can go in and cite your sources. So are you using APA, or are you going to have them use APA or something else? APA? Okay. So we'll go ahead, you'll just take this and you'll copy and paste it into your bibliography, and it's already formatted there for you. So this is a great, very convenient feature to use. So I do want to make you aware of that. It'll save you a lot of time trying to figure out how to format this correctly. Okay. And then some other options here. You'll notice the little folder icon here. Okay, so let's say we want to save this, but we want to go back in. So we click on the little folder there, and then we're going to go back to the result list here. And let's say we want to, add a term to our search and kind of narrow this down a little bit. So we'll say, I don't know what would be something here, but let's say animal research, and just add in social work. So that narrowed it down a little bit. And so at this point, you can still get back to the article you found by clicking on the folder. And so a lot of times the question that we get is, student will say, I found this really, great article for my topic, but I can't figure out how to get back to it. So this is a way in order to keep track of the articles that you find, because a lot of times, of course, it's going to be a trial and error process as far as the search terms that you're searching for. A lot of times you have to go back and try out different terms in order to change the results that you're getting. Now, I do want to point out, you need to click on the sign in link here. So this is an important step to do that. You can use any username and password that you want. You can sign in. You can use Google as well. And so from this point, once you do that, each time you go into the database, you can log in and view the contents of your folder. So it's something that's important to do, because once I click out of this, it'll go away unless I'm signed in. And then once you've signed in, you just add the articles to your folder, and then you can keep track of those articles that you find. So I think it's an important feature here in these databases for students, researchers, when you're looking for multiple articles. It's a good way to keep track of the articles that you find. And then some other options here. You can go in and over here on the left, you can see you've got some different options here. So you can see where it says references available, and some of these have them here. So if you wanted to only look at the articles in which they have references listed as far as what they use, the sources that they use when they put together the article. So let's say this is a really good one here. We wanted to see, I've got the cited references, and there's also time cited in this database. So the cited references, this is going to be their works cited page. So you can go through and you can see sometimes some of these are in full text, and then some of them are not here. So now what you can do is, let's say this is something that we think this is going to be a really good source that will be useful for our topic. And you see it says request through Iliad. Okay, so if the full text is not available on an article here, and we have a lot of citations to articles in these databases, sometimes the full text isn't available, what you can do is when you click that request through Iliad link, it takes you over to Iliad. You just use your Moodle login and log in there. And when you click on the request link there, it'll go ahead, once you log in, it'll have the form filled out for you. You just click submit, and then that request goes through. And then what happens at that point is the staff in the library go out and they find another library with access to that particular article. And then what happens is it's usually a pretty quick turnaround within a day or two, you'll get an email from the staff in the library. They'll ask you to log into your Iliad account, and the article will be available there on the dashboard. So there'll be like a PDF link, or there'll be another type of link there, and you can just go in and download that article or open it up and take a look at it there. So this is a good option for you, especially if you do need to look at something in which we do not have the full text access available in our databases. Time cited means that there is another article in this database that has cited that particular article. And so again, here's some options if you wanted to take a look at that article. Some other options here you can see the date range, you can see how far back it goes. So you may not be, an article from 1904 may not be that helpful for you. But what you can do here is adjust this date range. So we're going to move it all the way up here and get more recent articles. And this is a way to narrow your search without having to change your search terms. And you can go down and make use of the subject field from here. So you can see they've broken it down here. They've got the number of articles beside each of these. So if we wanted to look at pet therapy, for example, we could look at the 15 articles that deal with pet therapy. And then from this point, you can always take some of these things off. You can just click the little X's here if you need to broaden your search back out. So let's take off some of these here. And then what you can do too, again, as I mentioned, you can take off the full text link here. especially if you're having trouble finding articles with the full text available, and then you can go in and request some of these through Iliad. As long as you work ahead of time, you know, using Iliad is not a problem. Like I said, it takes within a few days, you should get it. It's not something you want to try to use at the last minute, like the day before the assignment's due or something. But it is something that could be useful for you, depending on what your topic is, you know. And a lot of times, I mean, hopefully we'll have lots of full text available for whatever topic you have, but it happens sometimes where we don't. It just depends on the topic and how much has been written or published about that particular topic that you have. Okay. So, you know, the convenient thing about the databases that we have in sociology, you saw that SociIndex, that is an EBSCOhost database. And so the other databases that we have in sociology are all, almost all of them are EBSCOhost databases. So the searching and the features are getting much the same. Now the other ones that we have are going to be a little more thematic in nature. So you've got here abstracts of social gerontology. So if you have an old age topic, you know, you can search here as well. And there might be some, and each database has some unique content that's not in the other. There is some overlap between them, but there's usually some unique journals that are held in one that aren't held in the other, and so forth. So for example, if you had an old age topic, you could look in SociIndex and then go over to the social gerontology database and take a look at and see what else might be there. Okay, so family studies. Again, when you're in these databases, you just want to be aware of the, you know, peer-reviewed journal box, and sometimes they're laid out a little differently. Okay. And then urban studies, so if you have something that's related to, you know, inner cities, related topic to that, study of cities and regions, race relations, so if you have a topic that deals with race, violence and abuse, so domestic violence, drug abuse, family violence, things like that. Those are, this would be a good, and they're all EBSCOhost databases. So I really don't need to go over different features. JSTOR is one that we have that is by a different publisher. So it looks a little different as far as the searching goes there. So let me show you here. When you go in here to JSTOR, let's bypass the basic search, which is a little unwieldy as far as the way it works. So we're going to go in and click Advanced Search. And when we put in our topics here, we'll say animal research, and then you can add, you know, continue to add terms. Of course, I always recommend that you start broad with a broad topic and then narrow it from there, because it's a lot easier to start with something broad than to try to do something very specific and then try to go back out. So a lot of times students want to add a bunch of stuff and you don't get much that way. A lot of times you have to start out broad and then try to narrow it a little bit from there. And so then what we can do here is go down and click the box next to articles. So this hopefully will restrict it to articles that are going to be useful for you. Weed out hopefully some book reviews and things like that. Then we're going to scroll down and find the subject grouping for sociology. Okay, so there's social work and sociology. So about 166 titles looks like that you're going to be searching. Okay, so you've got some different things here. So here, it's talking about volunteer work. So let's take a look at this one. So just again, you just click on the title in order to get a better idea. The abstract usually over here on the bottom left. And then the full text pops up in this viewer, although the viewer, I really don't like the viewer here. There's not a lot you can do with it. I mean, you can flip through it if you want to quickly read through it that way. But in order to get the article and save it, you just click to download PDF and then you just download it that way. Okay, again, so again, you do have, it's got the citation link there. So again, you can use what it's got there in APA. Okay. And then from there too, you can go in, you see where it says save, you can see it's got a workspace there. So behind it's saying it's saving the workspace, and you go in, the workspace is basically like the folder. So it's a way you can keep track of the articles that you find there. So again, this is a good database. It's got lots of good articles. Some of these, it doesn't have as much of newer content. You know, JSTOR has like these long runs of journals that go way back. It does have some newer stuff though. So it is an option, especially if you do struggle in the EBSCO databases finding, because again, there's going to be some unique content here. So it's worth checking out. And that's about all really. I think among these databases here, you should be able to find journal articles for your topic, hopefully. If you do have a need to search for a book on a particular topic, you can do that here. You can search for books here, and you can search, you know, directly from the subject guide here, searches the book catalog, and then you go through here. And there's a lot of, some of these are gonna, or actually what you can do is just click on either book, or, you know, we have lots of ebooks now where you don't even have to come in and check anything out. So that is an option for you there, although I think you're primarily gonna want to be focused on finding articles here. You know, you want to find the latest research on your topics and so forth. But that is an option there. I didn't want to point that out for you. More citation help is available here. And this just links to our citation guide. And then with APA, we've got lots of stuff here. I mean, there's guides, there's tutorials, there's lots of different things you can look at here. So hopefully, if you have some sources that fit outside, you know, that maybe aren't articles or sources that you don't find in the databases, you know, hopefully you can find some information here that'll help you to cite those sources. Okay. And then you can find my contact information here on this subject guide. So if you have questions as you go along, you can just send me an email. You can schedule an appointment to, if you're really struggling finding sources, you can schedule an appointment. I can sit down with you and help you find the sources that you need. My phone number is available there too. If you prefer to call me, you can do that. But again, I think if you can remember how to get back to the subject guide here, you're going to be able to find everything more quickly that you need to use. You're going to be able to more quickly find the sources that you need. So again, remember, you start at the library homepage, and there's this resources tab here underneath the picture, and it's the subject guide link. And then for sociology, we're going to scroll all the way down. It's alphabetical here. Say sociology, click one more time, and then there, databases tab, it's got all the databases there for you. Remember, SOCI Index of Full Text, that's the one that I recommend starting with there. Okay, are there any questions here before I go?
I know some of you guys are not doing necessary, you know, social work or sociology related topics. So you can use that database to search for any area. You would just go through those first couple of steps, and instead of scrolling down to sociology, you would select whatever field or topic you are.
Oh, okay, so something outside of that. Okay.
Yeah, they were like their own topics, and they don't.
Oh, okay. So they're not necessarily sociology or social work.
Doesn't have to be.
Oh, okay. Well, what you can do, even here on all the subject guides, I've got Academic Search Complete listed, which is like the big interdisciplinary database that EBSCOhost has. So you can, whatever topic you have, you can search there. And again, yeah, as you said, you know, you looked at the subject guides here. Okay, so let's say you have a biology topic, you can go to the biology subject guide, or if it's business, you know, whatever it is, and you can see all the different areas there. You know, we've got that, myself and the other librarians, you know, I work with sociology and several other areas. I work with the sciences as well. So that's where we got all the subject specific. But when you're doing an upper level, you know, or a more in-depth research project like that, it's better to go in and use the subject specific databases. So it just depends on what your topic is. If it's psychology, you just go down and find the psychology guide there. So yeah, make use of those subject guides.
And I know a couple of people have already emailed me. They said they were struggling to find articles. Make sure when you're searching in those subject guides, you're using, if you type in your main subject and can't find them, then that's where you add additional words. That's how, you know, somebody was doing something with social media. She was struggling to find articles, but when we really looked at her topic, it's communication through social media. And when she added that term communication in social media, it opens up, you know, a variety of articles. So sometimes you just kind of have to play with it. You have to try different words until you find, you know, the articles that are relevant, reliable, and that you want to use.
Right. You just need to brainstorm some keywords. You know, you just break down what the topic is, think of some words that would be descriptive of it, and then enter those terms there. Like I said, you want to start a little broader. You don't want to put in a string of stuff, but start with a couple of keywords and phrases that really describe it, and then based on the results you get, then you can add more in there. And then also showed you some of the other options within the database as far as it has some suggested subjects. Sometimes you can use those. If you need to adjust the date range, you can for getting a lot of older articles. So there's some other options with that too. But again, if you're struggling finding sources, just let me know. I can try to, you know, I've done this for a long time now, got a lot of experience searching and finding sources. So if you need help, just let me know. That's what I'm here for. That's what the librarians are here for. Kevin says he's found mine in EBSCO, so that's good. You're welcome, Mallory. Any other questions before I go here? Okay, let me take that off. Okay. All right. Well, as I mentioned, my contact information is on the website, on the subject guides there. So just let me know when you have questions and when you need help.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mark.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Email me or Mr. Mark if you have any questions.
All right. Have a good day.